Good evening. Welcome to the Board of Selectmen's meeting on Monday, September 8th, 2025. We'll call the meeting to order at 6 o'clock. Could I get a roll call, please, Chair?
Chairman Mr. Coy,
Here?
Vice Chair Mr. DeRoche,
Here.
Selectman Mr. Gifford,
Here.
Selectwoman Ms. Costa,
Here.
and Selectman Mr. Shorman.
Here.
And also presenting is Town Manager Greg Colby, Administrative Specialist Beth Hozek, and Admin Assistant Chair Casmay.
All right. And if we could all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. And first up on the agenda is public comment. If you have anything here for public comment, come on up. Come on down.
Thank you.
Yep, and just for the record, just state your name and your address. So we have it.
Good evening, everyone. Jeff O'Ligney, 28 Main Street. First, thank you for your service. I want to bring your attention to a serious matter tonight. I had the pleasure on the 4th of September to have an email dialogue with the new property assessor, KRT. And in summary, I'll be very brief. In summary, I've never seen such a show of duck, cover, and pivot in a long time. I started out the dialogue and I said, hello, I'm trying to determine, oh, by the way, I want to make it clear that I'm not here to complain about my increase in my assessment, which was, 40, 50%, which is like it's normal. I'm not here to talk about that. I started out by saying, hello, I'm trying to determine the data used to arrive at my new assessment value. I've reviewed your website, but haven't found any supporting information. Could you assist? And it was Mr. Rob Tozier, their vice president, that was responding to me. He said, good morning. He directed me to my property card, which he said I can find at the clerk's office, which ought to have all the information I need. I restated my question. I said, actually, what I'm looking for is his rationale to support the new assessment for my property. And he went on to say that the state of New Hampshire requires reevaluations take place every 5 years or so, and so on. A whole big response to a question that I didn't ask. So I again redirected him. I said, this background information is unfortunately unhelpful. Maybe my question was unclear. I restated my question. Can you point me to the data and the evidence that supports my new assessment? He dumped a large data dump on me of qualified sales. I don't know the definition or his definition of qualified, but it was a spreadsheet with 50 or 60 entries on it. I didn't go through it. I am an engineer and data analyst. I could have, but I didn't know what qualified was, so it made no sense to do that. So we went back and forth, as I said, for about a dozen times, and I asked what sales numbers relate to my property. So he gave me a list of maybe 100 sales. Which one of those was comped to my property? Couldn't get an answer. He explained that it's a model, data model. I'm quite familiar with models. I said, could you send me the model? Can't send you the model. So in other words, there's no data. You might as well flip a coin, as far as I can tell. I've got nothing to substantiate my assessment. I suspect I'm not lucky enough to be the only one. And I think this is a very concerning situation for the whole town of Plastow. And that's why I bring it here to you folks tonight. Thank you for hearing me, and I strongly advise you to please take this under consideration. Review the contract with this company, see if they're compliant. I suspect they're not. I suspect you have in the contract that they're required to substantiate their assessment. They have not done so. And I told Mr. Tozier I'd be bringing this to the board, and he said, make sure you show them the dialogue, the email dialogue.
Right.
I'm happy to do so. And he thought that would vindicate him. I said, no, what it would show is that you're not cooperative. And no matter how I phrased my question, you had an excuse. Duck, cover, pivot.
Yeah.
Right? So that's what I found.
Yeah, unfortunately, we weren't part of that discussion, so I didn't see the email trail, but we'll definitely have a discussion.
I'm happy to provide it. If somebody wants me to email it to them, I'm happy to do
Yeah,
that.
you can send it to my email if you
I
want.
will. Thank you.
Yeah, and that's no problem at all. And we'll definitely reach out to them and have a conversation with them. And look
My
into it.
understanding is I'm not alone. There's been some chatter on this on the Facebook page, and other people are saying the same thing. I looked up the company's Google rating. It's a 2.5 out of 5 stars. Not so good.
Yeah.
And some of the comments, ironically, on that Google website say some gentleman said they take your $100,000 house and they tell you it's worth $250,000, and they won't tell you why.
Yeah, because
Exactly what I experienced.
I know, like in my case, mine went up roughly about $260K.
Yeah, you and me both.
Right, which I think basically almost everybody in the town did. So I think because the last time it was done was like 4 years ago, I think, somewhere around
Right.
there. And the prices have gone crazy, as we all know, in the real estate market.
I'm well aware, we're fortunate in that respect.
Yeah,
So I'm not questioning the fact that home prices have gone up and
Yeah.
we were undervalued on our previous valuation,
right.
but you can't just come up with a number and not tell us why.
I know mine, because the house just on my street went up for sale, and it's right in the ballpark of where mine went. So I'm like, okay.
Maybe yours is good. I don't know.
I don't know, but I know but trust me, you're not the only one I think everyone sitting up here, we all did as well.
Yeah, we all got the similar increase in valuation. Again, I'm not here to talk about that. I just want to know why. I can make a claim, but if it's unsubstantiated, then it's a hollow
Yeah.
claim. And so far, it's very hollow. Like I said, it's duck the
Yeah.
question, cover for the answer, and pivot, answer questions that weren't asked.
Yeah.
Really unproductive.
But yeah, I mean, we'll definitely make a call into them and have a discussion with them. And
He actually makes politicians and used car salesmen, he makes them look bad.
okay,
Thank you, everybody.
all right,
Thank you.
all right, thank you.
I'll send you the email.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good night. Was there anyone else for public comment? Sure, come on up.
I don't do this all the time, folks. But
No, that's fine.
My name is Walter Kosowicz, Kosciewicz, and I live at 11 Country Club Lane here in Plastow. Got it? Okay. Now, my concern is I've got a home that's about 48 years old. It's pretty well kept up. Behind me, they're building a new development, which you probably all know about. The sign says they're going to start at $1.1 million. Now, when I had my discussion with the fellow who came out, or didn't come out, who assessed my home, he said it was, just like this previous gentleman, based on a model of previous sales in my neighborhood. So my wife June and I are thinking, geez, if we were to survive here another 10 or 15 years, and I'm pretty old, that would mean those houses are going to go for 1.1, 1.2 million, and they're going to jump my spec house to a much higher value tax-wise. Now, as the fellow before me said, that's kind of good if I can sell it for that amount, and maybe
Sure.
I can't. But in the meantime, the next tax bill, from what I can gather, is probably going to be in the range, because I paid probably a third of the bill. When you multiply it times $20 per thousand, probably going to be about $8,000 to $9,000 right around Christmas time. So that's a tough one, but it's real money, and I can handle it. But I'm concerned long-term, if they keep using the same model, because these houses will probably sell for 1.2 million. Geez, my house is not even close to 1.2 million. As I said, it's a very common, well-kept-up spec house. So I think that's something that I brought up to this gentleman, and he said, well, that's subjective. His name was Doug, by the way.
Okay.
He was very professional, very cold, very unemotional. He was just factual, businesslike. So that's a concern. And I also am thinking, you all know that when taxes go up, they never go down, okay? At some point, the real estate bubble is probably going to subside. And suddenly, our taxes will still be there. Will an assessor come back and say, hey, Walt, guess what? We're devaluing your house X amount of dollars to match the fact that values have gone down across the state and maybe the nation. At some point, if you follow the cycle of economics, things come down at some point.
Yeah.
So, I don't want to be stuck at that high point and being compared to a bigger architectural type home just behind me in that development.
Yeah, because the one thing with the taxes, what you should notice this year is the town rate on the taxes. Right now, it's what was 2072. You're going to see that come down because of these
okay.
assessments.
That's
So that number will come down. It won't be the 2072 next year.
okay.
That will come down because the amount to be raised, whether it's, say 11 million, it's still 11 million.
Right.
So it just gets spread out. It's
But
not
it's
like,
times the or amount per thousand that's going to be different.
Correct, correct.
I understand that. I was kind of hoping for that.
Yes.
So that's fine. Well, that's all I have to say, folks. I thank you for your time, and maybe you'll take this all in consideration. I don't know what could be done about this, because there are older people on my street who, wow, did you see this tax bill go out? I said, well,
Yeah.
okay. I'm kind of talking to them. I'm representing a couple
Yeah,
more
'cause
people.
that was the assessment. That's not the tax bill.
I understand.
Because the tax bill won't come out probably till November.
Right.
And the tax rate,
Right around Christmas time, it'll be
Right.
due.
that's the way it always is,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
Yeah.
And the tax rate will get set usually right around the first week in November.
Okay.
But
And I
that number
noticed
should be coming down.
And the latest tax bills don't give you the total and cut it in half. They only give you the half, and they don't tell you the total for the amount. Maybe that was the plan with the assessment. And so, because I always figure I'm the bill payer in my house, and I always look at it and go, oh, now I know what I need to squirrel aside,
Yeah.
so I'm ready. So that's it, folks. Thank you for listening.
Okay.
Just add to one of your comments you made when you talked about if in like a few years the bottom drops out, right? So what we did this year was a statistical update, right? We were below market value. So every 5 years we're required to do it by law, which next year is our required assessment, full reevaluation. This year we did a statistical update. So in 3 or 4 years, if the market drops out and we're way under ratio, way over ratio, then we would consider doing a statistical update to bring those values
okay.
down. So it's a cyclical thing.
Okay.
So it's something that we consider every year based on what the assessor gives us for the median ratio. So usually in June or July, they come to us and they give us to say, you're 70% of market value. You may want to consider doing this or doing that. So
Okay.
just wanted to add that information for you.
Very good. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you all.
All right, thank you. Have
Thank
a good
you.
night.
Okay.
Was there anyone else for public comment? All right, thank you. So we'll go into our agenda. And first up, we have Fire Chief. How's everything tonight?
Everything is good. Thanks for inviting me down. Kind of illustrate what our department's been doing this year so far. So it's been quite a busy year for us. So I'm going to go over, wasn't sure exactly what you wanted, so I put some stuff together. And obviously, any questions that you have, either we go along or at the end, I'll be glad to answer the best that I can. The first thing I like to do is emphasize what we do on a daily basis, and that's making sure we're prepared to handle the worst calls that we might receive, right? Making sure we're prepared to handle our citizens, our taxpayers, our visitors' worst day that they might be having. So we do a lot of training and continuing education throughout the year. I'm going to highlight some things that are above and beyond like what we would say a Monday night drill. So the first thing is we had a member travel twice to Colorado to attend a hazardous materials certification class. Both programs are 40 hours each. This is paid for on a federal grant. So there's no out of pocket for travel, motels, per diem and stuff like that for this program. So it was a really great program. And our hazardous material technician who's on our regional team, Rich Fowler, was the one that attended this really fantastic experience. All of our officers throughout the year or every year do what we call incident management training, fire ground strategy and tactic reviews to make sure that we're prepared to respond to fire type incidents and manage those scenes appropriately following, NFPA standards and incident safety officer type standards. So I put on a incident management program. Part of that is we utilize software programs that allow us to overlay, like you can see, this is a photograph, but it's actually a video during this class. And I could make the fire get better or make it get worse, depending on what strategy and tactics that they've decided to employ. Sometimes we could do everything right and the conditions just keep getting worse. So they have to be able to recognize, hey, it's time that we pull the people out of this building, right? We got to get the firemen back out. The conditions are worsening. And so that's a pretty robust training program that we use. Our technical rescue team continue doing annual refresher training on trench rescue, rope rescue, and then we're going to get in confined space and vehicle extrication towards the end of the year. So we stay up to date on those latest skills if we should need to use those. Obviously, we do a lot of EMS training as well. We have a lot of robust equipment that we use, simulation equipment. Some of the bigger classes that we've done this year is neonatal resuscitation and advanced medical life support, which are two really big staple classes in our pre-hospital care that we do. We run a simulation lab to where our EMTs and paramedics, we utilize like an iPad and an instructor trainer that the iPad looks like a heart monitor screen, right? So when they say they're putting the patient on a heart monitor, the instructor that's leading the class is actually putting what they would see. So it's all real time, real vitals, complaints that go along with that scenario. We package our own training medications. So if it comes time to administer a medication with the patient, the provider has to actually pull up. It's a saline, but it's packaged like the real medicine in the same concentration. So we're assuring that they're doing medical mathematics correctly and that they're choosing the right medications for the treatment of whatever the scenario is. So that's some of the bigger classes that we've done throughout this year so far. Our calls for service have increased this year compared to this time last year. So this goes to the end of August. And at the end of August in 2024, we responded to 957 calls. The end of 2025, we're at about 1,065 calls. So the end of August. So we're seeing, I don't know, it's probably about 12% or so increase in call volume, which has been typical for about the last 5 years here. Every year we're seeing more and more increase. What's driving that? Some myths out there. It's all the commercial district. And I'm going to show you this next page, which is small because it's got to fit on a PowerPoint slide, but it's a map of where we run calls. And it might be surprising to some people. Historically, we run about 70% of our call volume is to a residential address. We have some businesses on 125 that are busier than others, and those are the ones that attract a lot of people. So your grocery stores, Walmart, the ones that have heavy shoppers, yes, we'll run to those places more than the others. There's a lot of businesses on 125 that we don't respond to calls at. So I know there's some social media posts out there that blame everything on 125, and that's why we're so busy. But when you look at the map and these are GPS located from the 911 call and where we're responding to, you can see that we run a very diverse area of call volume.
Chief, what's a typical, like, what's a call? Is it the fire department going out? Is it the ambulance going out? Is it?
So this is all inclusive, and it includes the number of resources we send. So say we go to a house fire and we send 4 apparatus, it's going to show up with 4. If we go to a commercial building and we send a ladder engine and the ambulance in a command vehicle, it's going to show that number. So I have it select that way, so it makes it realistic to what we're sending as far as resources to those different addresses. So.
And what's typical, the type of calls? Is there one type of call you get more than another? And has there been a change year over year?
So that's the next time I'm actually getting ready to talk to. One of the big increases we've seen this year with call volume is our ambulance service and medical calls. It's kind of like we've pivoted. We had a couple of years where we were running a lot of fire related calls, and then this year we've pivoted. Now we're running a lot more EMS related calls. So when you look at the call volume up until the end of August and the increase over this time last year, we have about a 12% increase in EMS calls. And most of those are residential addresses. So far, we've transported 422 patients to the hospital.
And that's for the first,
That's
say, 8 months of the year?
That's right. That's to the end of August.
And just for clarification, this has nothing to do with ALS.
This has nothing to do with
This
ALS.
is
Nope.
just
That's going to
about-
be it's going to be the last thing we talk about, and that is strictly our town, our fire department, our ambulance service, our residents.
So you're close to almost 2 transports a day.
We average about that. Yes. Yep. Some days are busier than others. You know, we might go a day not do much at all, and then we'll have a day we'll have 6. So
I'm just looking at the average, right? It's like anything else.
it's an average.
Some
Yeah.
days.
So like I said, when I was running the numbers and running the types of calls and the increases, it's the EMS side of things have definitely increased this year to about 12%. One thing that we have seen this year is our staff has handled a lot of really sick people for whatever reason. We've seen more critical calls this year than we have in a lot of the other years combined. We've had a lot of cardiac events, a lot of STEMIs. We had a stroke save to where the patient had significant stroke deficiencies. We were able to get there quick, get him to the hospital quick, early interventions. He was just discharged with no deficiencies at all, from someone that was half paralyzed to and not able to talk to going home and acting fine. So our staff's done a great job, but that's where we've seen a lot of increase this year for whatever reason is more on the EMS side of things than on the.
And when you
On the fire side.
transport, how do you decide which hospital they go to?
So it depends on what's going on with the patient and if the hospital can handle that complaint. And sometimes a hospital, like, I'll give you an example, that if you're having chest pain, we show up, we do an assessment on you, we determine that, yes, you are having a heart attack. You have a blockage in your heart, and you need to get to a cardiac catheterization center. That's how they're going to fix that. We have a couple go-to ones that are closer, like Lawrence General is one of our closest ones. Exeter, sometimes one of our, another closer one. If at any time those cath labs are down, they call us and let us know that, hey, the cath lab's going to be down today from 7 a.m. until 4 p.m. So it's like, you have to know that and then know that the patient might want to go there because like, hey, they have a cath center. Why aren't you taking me there? Because their cath center isn't staffed right now. Right. So we have to take you to, they're not going to be able to help you with this problem. So it really depends on what's going on with the patient. If the receiving facility can perform the procedures, we have to make sure we take them there. Most of our cardiac related calls, our closest facility is Lawrence General. So that's why we're taking them to LGH. Same with trauma. If it's a general medical complaint, typically we're going to try our best to take the patient to where they want to go. Sometimes that doesn't align with what we have to do, but we always try to put the patient's needs first. And if we feel they're going to be admitted into a hospital system, what some people don't understand is once we deliver a patient, or you go to the emergency room by car, or we deliver the patient by ambulance to the emergency room, that hospital system now owns that patient. Right now, you could leave anytime you want to and check out against medical advice if you're able to do that. But now if, say, we take someone to the wrong facility and they need to be transferred to another hospital system, that receiving hospital system has to accept that patient before you could be moved. There's a lot of times that they're turning that down. For example, someone comes into the freestanding emergency room here in town and they're going to be admitted and they want to go to Exeter. And Exeter's like, yeah, we're full. We can't take you. Find another hospital. And that's, people don't get that. It's like, why can't you just take me there? We can't. The hospital can't send you there. It's a huge violation if they should do that. Your only choice at this point is just to check out against medical advice and call 911. So it's imperative that we get people to where, not just where they want to be, but make sure long-term wise, if they're going to get admitted, if it's intensive care services that they're going to need, if it's going to be rehabilitation services that they're going to need, we're going to try to make sure we just get them to that facility. Because once we bring them to the ER, the hospital owns them, right? They can't tell us don't come. They can only do that if they're already within an ER system somewhere else.
Yep. And do you have it listed? Like, I know we see you all see it all the time, the helicopters in town for the med flight.
Mhm.
Any idea roughly how many average? Because sometimes it seems like you'll get a couple on a weekend, then you might go a while. And then
Yeah, I'll be honest, in a year, probably one a month.
Okay.
Yeah, one a month. Some of them are urgent or critical transport out of our freestanding ER. which really is an easy call for us because we don't have to do anything. When the ER is flying someone out of that facility using HEMS, a helicopter EMS, we pick the crew up, we bring the crew over there, they do everything, we bring the patient and the crew back to the helipad, and they fly off. We're literally a taxi service at that point. So
I know the fire department on fires has increased its response time. Now you've gotten a lot more calls on your EMS side. Has that increased in response time?
decrease the response. Yeah.
Pardon me.
We average around 5 minutes
Okay.
for response time, 4.5 to 5 minutes from the time we're leaving until the time we're in your driveway. That stays pretty consistent. So, one thing that has definitely helped us, and I'm going to talk about a little bit later, is we have more resources now because of the ALS program. We have that paramedic that's at our station, and that paramedic probably responded already this year to 2 or 3 dozen calls in town to help when we get busier or if we need to use them. They responded to a critical call the other night that we had to fly out a patient that was critically sick. So that ALS paramedic helped with that. So that's helps with us with that as well. So, did that answer your question about?
Yes. Thank you.
Some fleet updates. I know here's another big topic that's like I love to read about on Facebook and the misinformation that goes around out there. I figure I'd talk about all of our apparatus. Engine 1 is the one that we're replacing. It's the one we got a grant for. Still in the queue line. We ordered it a year ago this last April, and it was like 40 months. They are moving a little bit faster. The sales rep called me the other day, and he was all excited about the delivery times was improving. And I said, "Oh, great! How much is that improving by?" Well, we're a month ahead of schedule. So, but that engine will be replaced soon with the one that we're getting on a grant. Obviously, Truck 3 is our new ladder truck. It's doing great. Everybody's trained up on it. It's responding to calls with no problems. Our Forestry 4 is it's the old pickup forestry truck. Nothing to report there. Tank 6 is a relatively new apparatus. It's in really good shape. I think it's going to get along, a lot of years for service. Engine 8 is an engine that I would say, if I had to categorize it, it was an engine that was bought on a budget. And because of that, it's going to get quite expensive. It's gotten really expensive this year. And it's not because we're using it a lot. It's a second run apparatus, and it sits in the bay most of the time. And it's having a lot of issues just sitting there. It had to be towed several times this year because of an electrical issue. It just kept shutting off. Going down the street, it just shut off. And they finally figured out what needed to be replaced on it to fix that. So we got our fingers crossed that it's fixed. Unfortunately, you've probably heard the phrase, you could pay up front or pay at the end. And that's what we're kind of living through with this apparatus. It was a budget purchase on the front end, and now it's going to be very expensive moving forward with fixing things on it.
How old is that truck?
It is a 2012, so 15 years.
And use that as a backup, you said, right?
And that's why we moved it to a backup, because it was already showing problems. It would probably be a great engine for a department that's running a couple hundred calls a year, not a department that's running 1,500 calls a year. Yeah.
When would you
Ambulance,
say that would be replaced?
on the CIP, it's got at least 10 more years.
And it's going to last that long?
I'm doubtful. So I would be, if we could figure out how to pull it off, I would highly suggest to find something that's maybe the same year market as that one, like a 2012, 2015, and buy a used apparatus that's more of a high-end apparatus, because it's getting quite expensive. And I'm talking like this year, we've probably spent $20,000 on it. That didn't have in the budget because it was stuff that you can't predict. So, Ambulance 1, a lot of information out there that It's been totaled and this and that. It's not been totaled. It's being fixed. They're waiting on parts. It was sent back to the manufacturer to make sure it was fixed correctly, and it's a new apparatus and it wants to stay a new apparatus. The accident was, we were not at fault. So make sure people understand that that's listening. There was witness statements that stopped and filled out witness statements for the investigating police department that the car that hit us was driving erratically before it hit us and practically drove into us through the intersection. Our driver did exactly what she was supposed to do. She came almost to a complete stop, slowly started moving through the intersection, and then this car just appeared out of nowhere and literally drove right into the side of us. So it did cause damage to it. It's not totaled, and hopefully we should have it back here fairly soon. But it's like anything else with the supply chain issues, just waiting on parts and waiting in a queue line to get fixed.
Any estimate in time?
So about a month ago, he was predicting about 2 months.
And in that time, we've been able to have a backup ambulance.
We worked really well with our neighboring departments. The day that it happened, I had 4 departments immediately reach out to me and say, we'll bring you an ambulance right now if you need it. And those are actually a lot of the departments that we supply the ALS paramedics to. So that kind of helped build that relationship for that need. Sometimes we'll borrow one. Well, we always have 2 there. Sometimes the department that we're borrowing it from needs that one back because they have their ambulance going out for maintenance, so they need to borrow it back. But we have a really robust mutual aid agreement with these towns, and they help us and bend over backwards. So I'll give you an example. The other day, our backup ambulance had a serpentine belt break on it. I called the Newton fire chief, and within 15 minutes, he had an ambulance sitting in our driveway. So that's what we're currently running now.
So we've never had coverage suffer.
We've never had coverage
There's always
suffer.
been 2 like we planned for.
It's either 2 that we have here, or we have a department on ready to go to respond here if we need them.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you.
So, one thing I can't brag about enough on this next slide is our personnel. We have great dedicated staff from our full-time per diem to our on-call department personnel that put the time in, they do the training, they come on calls. They are a great group of people that want to be here and they want to serve our community. So I want to brag on them. We wouldn't be able to do what we do if it wasn't for our people and our personnel. I always tell people that in any organization, the people are the most important asset of that organization. And it is true with us as well. So gotta brag on our people a little bit. They do a good job. Our junior fire department, junior firefighters have been doing strong work. It's been a very successful program. Several of them have graduated out of the program, if you will, or aged out, and now working for full-time fire departments across our state here in New Hampshire and down in Massachusetts. So it's been a great segue to get people into public safety and start feeding the recruitment issues that we see out there every day.
And they actually can get high school credits for that too, right?
They get 2 extended learning credits, so 2 ELO or however it is, they utilize that. Credits for that. One for what they consider firefighter 1 and one for their firefighter 2.
And how many kids do you have in the program right now?
Probably 24-ish, 25-ish.
And they go every Sunday and they work.
They're going every Sunday. And the next slide, I'm going to talk about something fun that they did this last summer. Is a large group of them traveled to New York and got to tour around with the FDNY. They got to visit the 9/11 memorial. The gentleman that they're shaking a hand with right there was actually a 9/11 survivor, and you got to hear some really great stories about that event. So, like I said, they're a great group of kids. They're eager to learn, and I think we'll continually see them as they age out, be placed in different departments throughout the state. So,
That's awesome.
any questions on that before I transition? Any questions on the fire department side before I transition to the ALS? I do want to keep it separate somewhat because it is 2 separate things.
Quick, I just have are you fully staffed on the EMT firefighter side?
So we are fully staffed as far as, we don't have any open positions,
Okay.
right? We have a lot of interested people that want to come work for us, so that's a good thing. Other people are having an issue recruiting. We don't necessarily have that. We do have some full-time staff and some of our regularly scheduled part-time staff that are currently out on some injuries right now, and some others that are off on leave. So we do have those vacancies, if you will, but we fill those with per diem as much as we can.
All right.
So
Could we potentially sell Engine 8 if we thought about getting something that was similar, but a step up from that? Is there a department that you know of, or maybe Northern New Hampshire that would?
So I actually had that conversation with the town manager because we did come across like I said, in that same year range
Mhm.
as what it looked like it would be a good fit for us and a good price. The problem that we run into is the RSA statutes, that if we sell that apparatus, the money has to go back to the taxpayers. The taxpayers, we could put it on the ballot and ask for them to reallocate it back to a program. Well, there's too much lag time in that. We can't live without an apparatus for 6 months, and then you don't know if you're going to have another used one. So I don't really know how to overcome that unless, if the CIP gets built up and then we purchase something and then sell this and then give that money back. There's no easy way to take money that's been already invested in the apparatus and reallocate it for something that might be better fitting for us. So that pretty much sum that up. Yeah, so we've worked hard trying to figure that out.
And I know we used a grant for that other engine that we're waiting for, right?
Mhm.
Is there an opportunity there to apply for that again and see if there's an opportunity to replace that?
So not that particular grant. That grant was the clean diesel grant. So that particular engine has a DEF system on it already. So it wouldn't be in the age range for that particular grant. I've looked for some other granting opportunities out there. The problem is it's still kind of too new, right? With it only being 15 years old, roughly. It's just hard to find a grant that's going to include a 2012 apparatus date on it. So, but we have our fingers crossed that we fix everything on it, and like I said, we just kind of leave it there and we gingerly walk by it, and hopefully nothing else happens to it.
And we'll talk about it again in 10 years.
Probably. Anyway, on to our ALS program, which you all know we started in March 20th of this year. We transitioned the Exeter ALS program, took it over. We service 18 communities, about 100,000 population. The program has been very successful to a point where other areas of the state are looking to us to see how we're pulling this off, because they have issues in their parts of the state that they can't find a solution for, and they think this is a very good program to look at. Our paramedics have been extremely busy. I'm going to talk about some call volumes here in just a minute. But this program is being watched by the State Office of EMS. It's being watched by our governor, who issued us a commendation for preventing a public health crisis, which was kind of neat to be a part of. I never thought I would be a part of something like that. The Attorney General's office is watching this programming, helping with things as well. So there's a lot of eyes in the state that are looking at what we've done and what we're doing and willing to help to make sure it sustains and stays successful. So it's been a good venture. And again, this has no tax impact on our community at all. This is all separate budgeted funding and funding that we get that supports that. One of the benefits that we have for running this program is that paramedic here in town. Like I said, we've utilized that paramedic a lot already this year when we've been busy with calls or committed on one call. They're available to respond at least and start patient care until an ambulance gets there. Or if we respond to a critically sick patient in town, they provide an extra set of that paramedic level care that we need to take care of that patient. So at the end of August, our ALS program, the car out of Plastows responded to 462 calls. They're a little bit slower. Their response area isn't as big as the ALS out of Brentwood. So the Brentwood truck has responded to 1,002 calls already, and they've split 147 times. So they've actually responded to 1,149 calls out of that station. So they're staying really busy out of that station as well. Making a tremendous impact again with those communities that don't have paramedics. So I've gotten a lot of letters this last month from different chiefs that are supporting this program and asking, make sure whatever we need to do to keep it, they like it. They see the benefit of having it, and they definitely thank us for providing it.
And I know the first year you were able to get the funds to cover the cost of the first year. How's it looking so far for going forward?
Very positive, very positive. Like I said, there's a lot of key players within the state that want to make sure this stays successful. So there's some people going after some really big money to make sure this system is just sustained. So one of the skills that our ALS program does, our paramedics, is a procedure that we have to do with critically sick people. So sometimes people get the idea of that an ambulance is, oh, I'm just going to put you on a stretcher and take you to the hospital, right? And those days really ended back in the 70s and 80s. Unfortunately, sometimes that culture kind of hangs out. And in today's standards of healthcare and pre-hospital emergency care, we're an extension of the emergency room. So when our paramedics are taking care of you in your living room or in the back of the ambulance, we're being an extension of the emergency room, which sometimes we have to do advanced level care because it's safer for the patient to do that before we move them in the house, before we transport them if it's 15, 20 minutes to the hospital. What we say is there's not an excuse. Short transport time doesn't mean you just load the patient up and take them unless they have something that they need a surgeon to fix. You know, if they need emergency surgery, that's one thing, but if it's anything else we're doing what an emergency room would be doing for a lot of these patients. One of those skills that sometimes we have to do if it's a significant trauma or medical patient is we chemically paralyze you and we take care of your airway for you and package you up just like a critical care team would in a hospital. And our paramedics have already done that 16 times since March. So it's a powerful skill to have to be able to take care of those patients before they get to the hospital or the emergency room. And just like I brag on our fire department staff, I got to brag on our ALS personnel because they do a phenomenal job out there responding to some really sick patients. So we're only going on calls of the really sick patients. So that's what they're seeing every single day. And they do a great job with treating them. And we get really good feedback from the ERs, from our quality assurance deputy chief and such that looks over everything. It gives good feedback. So in the center picture there in the top is actually our medical director who primarily works at Portsmouth ER. So we've brought him a lot of sick patients. So he's happy with what he's saying and what we're doing. So any questions on anything?
How many towns does it cover?
18. And those are varying. So some towns have paramedic staff more than others. Some towns never have paramedic staff. Some towns have paramedic staff 25% of the time. Some towns have paramedic staff for the first call, but then they need us for a second call. It should come in. So it's 18 towns, but it's not 18 towns where we're providing this only paramedics full time.
Right. Okay.
And I know when we talked about this program, it was going to take 4 or 5 years to have these towns commit, right? So like every year they're going to give up or contribute to the program, right? So are these 18 towns returning?
So they're going to probably continue to return, or some that actually might want to come on that's not part of the system yet. One of the things that we have as far as the financial advice or looking, forecasting financial needs, is staying with a strong donor base to help keep the cost for these towns low. Because the towns are already having to invest in an ambulance because we don't provide an ambulance. And the towns are already having to invest with at least 2 EMTs to respond to the call. We don't provide the EMTs, right? We're just providing the paramedics. So towns are already having a significant investment in pre-hospital care. And now you're adding this level of paramedics on top of that. So there's some avenues of donations out there that will help offset the gap, what we would call gap funding from what the operational budget is versus what the system's bringing in. So I'm working with some philanthropy groups and some other donors to do some heavy lifting to keep that burden off the taxpayers and off the towns to be able to get this paramedic level service continued.
Right, and I know our commitment is it's not going to cost Plastow anything. Right?
And it's not costing us anything, and we're getting the benefit of that paramedic at our station.
Now, if it continues to grow and you add a couple more towns, would you eventually possibly have to go to another site? You have one in Plastow, we've got Brentwood. Would you have to possibly think about somewhere else just for the coverage?
We're actually currently looking at expanding like in the Stratham area and working with some other fire departments out there in that chief to see about growing. So I gave you an example of the donors out there. I already got donors like, when that happens, let me know, I'm going to buy the car for you. You got the money. So there's a lot of interest out there in making sure this paramedic level program stays. Similar to how, hospital systems rely a lot on donations to stay afloat, right? You see people's names on different wings of hospitals. You got, so-and-so's OB wing. You got the NICU that's named after somebody. You got cardiology named after somebody. And those are those big donors that want to maintain that hospital for that region, for that area. Where this is a regional program, you have donors now that are wanting to help with that. Donors want to make sure their money's going to a wide scale event, not just in a small little local area. So we're getting to see a lot of that come forward. Boston MedFlight, for example, probably wouldn't be where they're at without a lot of donors coming up and donating money to them. So it's kind of looks like it's morphing into that type of a model to where there's still always going to be a charge to the towns for the use of it, but then there's some gap funding difference coming in through donations.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Anything else, you guys?
No, I just think everything that you've built up has been fabulous, from the junior firefighters up to the ALS program. And thank you.
You're welcome. And again, it's our people that do that. It's sometimes I tell them they make my job easy, because it wasn't for our staff, I wouldn't be where we're at today. So
No, even just how the service has increased just in the last couple of years,
Yes.
right? When we've taken it in-house instead of having to share one ambulance with 6 towns.
now we got 2 just for our town. So, and some of that, other towns have done is helped us as well, because they've moved away from Trinity. Obviously, if for the people that don't realize, none of the towns around here are using Trinity anymore. They've all cycled away from that contracted ambulance provider. I knew that was going to be happening, so that's why we were ready to move forward and get out of it when we did. We were ready to make that transition. It helps us in a way because now the other towns have staffing. So if we need an ambulance from Newton, if we need an ambulance or a fire engine from Atkinson, they have people there all the time now. They're not a call department where they don't have anybody there. And vice versa, we return that help when they call for us. So it's the mutual aid system is working very well in this area for those needs.
I also want to thank you for your forecasting forward, and what could have been devastating for our town. You've moved us forward in a way that's for the benefit of us as well as other communities.
I would think that I wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't do that.
I know,
right?
but
I appreciate
it needs
but,
to be said.
a lot of communities, it really shouldn't have been a surprise. And you hate to say it that way, but it's like, who's watching? Right? Who was watching? This shouldn't have been a surprise. And you all, this board supports what we do. The community supports what we do. Shame on us if we fail.
Well, I have to admit, I go up and down 125 on a regular basis, and I don't know how many times I pulled aside to see that blast out vehicle go by me. It's just amazing. I stop in at Brentwood occasionally and just talk to the crew, just because they're part of our town. So it's truly amazing. You've done an awesome job getting this off the ground, making sure. And I don't think people in town understand all the other ramifications that come with it, and they're all on a positive note. So
It's not a bad thing, especially when there's no fee attached to our taxpayers for that. It's a good thing to have. The education that that system's bringing, we have clinical educators that system is teaching classes that our staff could go to, and we don't have to pay for that class. It's included in that. So there's just all these little things that all come together that doesn't make this a bad thing to do.
no, there's a ton of value adds, and again, you've done a great job.
So, thank you.
Thank you, Chief. You guys are
Thank
doing
you.
an
Well
amazing
done.
job.
Bills. Thank you. Make sure you pass that along to everybody else up there too.
Yes.
How much they appreciate it.
I'm always happy to come, so if more questions come up, if you want me to talk about it, anything in particular, I'm always glad to come and be as transparent as possible.
Don't worry, we'll see you in a few weeks. It is budget season.
Yeah. Speaking of that, no, I'm just kidding. So,
Good, thank you.
Thanks, Chief.
All right, next up, let's review the tagging policy. All right, so
Thank you.
thank you. So, we figured in talking with Beth, we figured we'd review the tagging policy. We haven't done this, was it a couple of years ago, probably?
Last year.
And I guess we'll start, you're gonna be on screen now. Well, you're the one who handles it, right? So you see what's working, what's not working.
Right. No, I have handled it for quite a while. Jared has already learned it. He's doing great. Tagging used to be very popular. Obviously, that fell apart with the pandemic. But it's really picking up again now. We have no weekends left for the rest of the year. So we've actually turned down probably, 6 or so?
The only remaining weekend available is the weekend before New Year's, and between Christmas and New Year's, the very last weekend of the year. That's
Right.
the only one available.
So we've turned people down.
Yeah.
You feel bad, but
No,
you know.
our policy now is it's one group, right, for each day.
right, one group per day, even though there may be multiple locations in town that people can tag at. The town just says you're okay to do it. It's up to the group to find their location or locations.
Right. So, and I know you have a recommendation. And then we gotta
Oh.
try to see how it works. So I know it's tough. If we take it away from the town, then it's just kind of almost becomes like a free-for-all out there. Whoever gets to say a certain business conceivably could actually have it for 52 weeks, I guess. So I don't know how you want to do it. Do we want to limit it so 2 groups could do it?
Oh, it's your
Well, how-
decision only.
I know it's our decision, but I'm going by, you know the calls you're getting, trying to figure out what's to work. Obviously, we'd like, if possible, you'd love to be able to keep the tagging just for blast out groups, right? And I know we get outside groups that
Oh,
come
we
in.
get a lot of outside groups.
In the policy, there's a way to say just an outside group can only do it 1 weekend a month, so the other 3 are open to blast out groups?
You
Can we change that? I don't know what
Can, you-
legally,
it's-
if
The board
there's
can
anything.
create the rules.
Any thoughts?
What's the percentage of outside?
What makes your life easier?
Retirement.
Like, Can we create an online form for people to sign up and select the date and the location that they're tagging at? So that way you can have multiple
The town has
people?
never been in charge of the location.
Okay.
And I
Yeah,
don't
'cause-
think we should be. Like, I don't believe Market Basket allows anyone to tag on Sundays.
No.
Right, so I think
So we can't really say, oh, well, we're gonna let you do it these 2 days, and you have to go
did
here.
we give them a letter, right, to take to the businesses that,
Yes.
that it's,
And-
that it's
and-
okay?
Right, but the letter is in your packet, and it says that they are responsible to take the letter to wherever they want to tag and get approval from the business.
Yeah, because we can't say, okay, you can do this business, because it's up to the business at the end of the day.
Right.
Yeah, so
I mean, obviously, I lean towards plastow groups
Right, taking
over
care of
outside
our-
groups.
But
Absolutely.
you occasionally have groups that may not be located in Plastow, and they may accept people from multiple states, multiple towns. So I honestly think you either keep it the way it is, or you don't do it at all and let businesses do it. You wanted my opinion.
No, I get it. Well, you're the one who deals with the, so you know what happens more than the rest of us, though.
Mhm.
And you get the phone calls.
and it's only like the Salvation Army from like November
The end of
until-
November.
Right, we
And-
do
and
have a
that's right.
certain timeframes
For specific.
quartered
groups.
off for just Salvation Army.
Okay, and then for like Veterans and Memorial Day and that we
We do
have.
give veterans preference for weekends close to Veterans Day and Memorial Day.
Okay,
As it should be.
Right. But other than that, the only real rule is one group or organization per date. And
So what do we have? We have like 8 weeks left for this year that were eligible that are filled because December is kind of filled with
Salvation Army.
Salvation.
but the ones we have are already taken. They're
I know, I
already
understand that,
committed
right?
to
And we have
somebody.
6 other people that you said you may have turned down. So what if we did a trial of letting 2? It can't be more than one outside group that weekend. So there has to be one Plastow group, it has to be a Plastow organization for one of them. Or we can allow 2 for this 8-week period to see how it goes. And then we revisit it after the
Well, I
holidays.
think wherever the Salvation Army is, you're not going to get another group in there.
yeah,
No,
'cause-
no, we're not even touching those days. I'm not saying that. Just those
So you're
weeks
saying no
before,
until
now until the end of November.
until Thanksgiving?
We say, yes, there can be 2 groups. One has to be a Plastow group, though. We're not going to have 2 outside groups in the same weekend.
Well, they're already filled, so.
Right, they're already filled with one, but not the second.
Right, so the second one would have to probably be a plastow group.
Unless there's already a
Right?
Plastow group doing it, it's an outside. Yes, there's.
I would need to determine which groups are actually placed out. Because on the form itself, to my understanding, it doesn't specifically say where they're based at necessarily, unless it says like Haverhill Cheer, and you obviously know that's out of Haverhill.
Right.
And that's one of the
How
ones that
many out
has Plastow girls in it as well as.
Outside of the Salvation Army, how many of the groups are out of town groups?
Let's say I actually have the calendar up right in front of me. So I'll list ones that I'm not quite sure about. I have like
Yeah.
Quintown baseball, which is supposed to be
That's part of
Multi-town.
Plastow.
That
That's
is part- okay,
multi-town,
that's part-
Plastow's involved.
Plastow's part of it.
Southern New Hampshire Strikers. That could be anywhere. Sandown
also us.
Lions.
Sandown Lions is not Plastow, but the first 2.
Haverhill Elite Cheer, Adult and Teen Challenge, Knights of Columbus, which is probably,
Yeah.
they have multiple districts.
And the nights that money goes back to the community.
Most of them, I would say most of them from now until the end of the year are actually classed out. There are the kind of couple that I just mentioned.
Yeah, that's a good thing. I'm just wondering how it would be for the businesses if we said, okay, 2 groups can do it. And now the
They have
business
to
is getting hit
decipher.
by both groups.
They have to decipher.
And then
We just say, hey,
that's-
you get, this is the other person tagging that same date. You guys figure it out. We chalk it up.
Or, sorry, we have someone already tagging.
Right, the businesses may not want it, but maybe somebody goes to Foods Plus and somebody goes to Heavenly Donuts and
But they're
somebody
not-
goes to Market
Heavenly doesn't
Basket.
allow it anymore, but
Okay.
yeah, no, but no, there's plenty of options between the city,
Heavenly was
Foods Plus,
dangerous.
Shaw's, Market Basket,
Right.
Tractor Supply.
But you just said that Heavenly Donuts doesn't allow it.
Yep.
So does the town want to do it, or does the town want to let all the businesses make their own rules? I don't know.
I would say, give them the little sheet of paper, and if businesses say no, then they say no. That's not, our responsibility is to just say yes, okay, and it is up to the business to say yes or no, like,
But you could have one group could dominate one
one whole.
one business, right? And have it for every weekend of the year.
Mhm.
No, we don't open it up that
Has the
way.
current model worked over all the years? And if not, what's the critique? I guess is the
Well,
easiest way
I
to go.
really liked what we did, well, what was proposed back on September 23rd, 24, but the board did not agree with that. So I think you guys need to decide, not me.
We're just trying to get your input. Hey, look, you still got a couple months left. We're trying to, let's see.
I mean, truth be told, from what Mr. Shorman was suggesting, as far as the potential for having two groups, one outside, one plast-out, that might be
Or two plast out. It could be two plast out.
Oh,
too.
yeah,
I'm just
or
saying
two
it has to be a
plast out,
minimum
yes.
of one plast out group if we're
Well,
going to have
that model that you were suggesting, generally speaking, might be plausible, because at least it gives a little bit more breath room to other groups, and I'm not having to deny 6 or 7 different groups because one other group is already taking that entire 4-day weekend.
But then the downside to that is you've given two groups the date, right? And if they both go to Market Basket, one of
And
them
then
gets Market
that's-
Basket and the other one.
Oh, you let them know that, hey, there is another group going, and if they want the contact info for that person, maybe we give it, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it comes to a point where we can only do so much that businesses, and at the end of the day, they need to make those
The thing is, I
decisions.
think it's complicated if you, because
So maybe,
The
that's
two
why I'm
groups
saying the
aren't gonna
short
talk-
trial here of the, what, 7, 8 weeks or whatever.
I don't think the two, like, getting two groups to talk to each other could be tough. There's plenty of businesses in town to do
Right.
it.
It's kind of on the businesses at that point, too.
But,
That-
but we all know what the top 4 or 5 are that everyone's gonna want.
Yeah, we just listed them.
But isn't it up to them at that time to contact the business?
They have
So you have to go in and
contact the
physically
business.
bring them the letter.
It removes it from the town side if you say, here's 2 approvals, and you go whoever, first come, first serve at that
Yeah,
business.
that's
I'm also saying this
exactly.
trial period, right, then we go into the holidays and then it's winter. No one's tagging January, February.
Do we have a lot of double dippers? So someone who comes in and asks for like the beginning of September and then maybe,
Do you limit groups to maybe, you don't do more than twice a year?
do we have a lot of people?
We do have some groups that, yeah, they're every 4 months, they're asking for dates. Because that is one of the requirements. You can't do it more than 4 months ahead of time. Because you don't want January 1st, somebody to be saying, hey, I want Labor Day weekend.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, everyone's gonna hop in on that, right?
Right. And a few years back, Super Bowl weekend, people were fighting over it.
I mean, it's obviously not a decision we have to make tonight. If we wanna think about it, or if it's something you think we all have a consensus that we wanna try or do.
What was the request from last year? I'm just reading the meeting minutes, but it doesn't really say
I
what.
think it was to
What you wanted
suspend
to
it for a
change it.
year.
I honestly think let each business do their own thing.
Looks like the motion for last year was to suspend or stop the
Yeah.
current policy for a year period.
Yeah, I mean, just from my personal perspective, the purpose of us monitoring that is only so that we can make sure that local groups are getting the attention and that they need and require.
Right, and that's it. If you suspend it, then the local group, like the town baseball that uses it to pay, or,
We just turned down the
Someone
Plaster
else.
Cub Scouts.
I know that because but you'd have like the Cub Scouts or whatever, if we,
Now, they're trying to sell
Total-
popcorn though, too, right? They're selling something.
but
in
if,
front
but
of
if,
businesses
but I'm
now.
thinking if we totally suspend it, then outside groups can come in, and then those groups don't have a shot to get anything possibly.
We still have outside groups, though.
I know that, but,
Then you have
You can
people that
limit it.
just show up and tag too.
right,
Well, the other side of
Right.
that, the other side of that coin is that at the end of the day, the business can just say no, regardless of our intent or what
Yeah,
we're trying
Walmart
to do.
doesn't-
No,
Walmart won't
we-
allow you. It's-
we get that, but I'm just, you don't wanna see town groups get shut out.
No, of course.
That's my big
No,
thing.
yeah, I'm just stating both
I
sides.
still think the trial period is doing 2 and see how it goes, right? We have what, 6, 7, 8 weeks?
Which I'm more than happy to monitor.
If there's conflict and it doesn't work out, all right, we know that we're going to have to stay in control of this, and then we're back to the drawing board, and it's just going to have to be one, and we're going to have to figure out how to do it best. But
Yeah.
we have those weekends already booked, and then he has another 6 that he's turned down.
And we have those requests in that file. I'll get rid of them. I mean, I certainly have those emails too. That I can go back and look.
So what's thoughts?
I would I would agree with Tyler, like, give it the trial run. I do think that in-town community groups should be able to tag in their town.
Right.
I'd hate to drop it right now and Christmas comes and everyone starts tagging and Salvation Army's out there and they're all over them.
Yeah, up until Salvation Army starts.
So if we do that portion
Yeah, because you can't double dip with the.
Oh, yeah, no.
Salvation
through the
Army.
end of this year, so it would
Please
be
know
through
that
the
I'm not
end.
suggesting anything like
Until
of
the
the sort like
weekend
that.
before Thanksgiving.
And honestly, the
because
other
that's when they
exception I would have
start.
too is like when you have
I
like
was gonna say
the
the end of the
Memorial
year.
Days when the.
Because that weekend
They're
is
giving
over,
out the
not touching the
copies.
Salvation
I wouldn't
Army,
want
but that last
another
weekend
group
of-
doing that.
Someone
So,
really wants for
course.
December 31st.
you know, that's
so
like
forth.
an exception because the
You
veterans
could allow
should
two if
they
they
have their own
Yeah.
falls, you know.
instead of have to share with someone.
But I mean, either way, how do you, other groups can get dates. Are we changing the rules to say you have to be Plastow? I don't think that's going to work.
No, I think what we're saying, if we try what Tyler's saying, one of those groups at a minimum has to be one out of Plastow.
Yes.
There can't be two outside groups.
So if you have Haverhill Cheer sign up and then Sandown Baseball says, we want that weekend too, it says, sorry, we already have an outside group tagging that weekend.
Yeah.
Our requirement is that it has to be another Plastow group
Yeah,
if we're gonna have to.
Plastow
You
groups.
know,
have
affiliated
first
with
priority.
Plastow or something.
So groups that involve multi-towns, what do we classify them as?
If I think, the only thing you have, it gets complicated. I totally see that.
They have residents of Plastow though,
Consider
so I
them as a
think,
Plastow town.
yeah, I would say
Because they have
If
Plastow.
they-
they have Plastow
like
residents that are
TMA
part of
or-
that.
Or Quintown, because.
Yeah, I
Right,
mean,
Quintown has,
Plastow kids playing.
Plastow
those
kids are on
programs.
that. Plastow's part of that.
but that Haverhill Elite Cheer has some Plastow kids in it. So do I call them out of state or in state? Or out of town or in town?
Where's the organization registered to?
I mean,
There you go.
Or maybe like a.
they're registered in Massachusetts.
When
And they're one
Plastow,
of the ones that are very smart.
when Plastow baseball
they can
tags, do they
request
tag
more,
under
they do.
Plastow or Quintown?
Plastow Baseball is Plastow Baseball.
Plastow baseball, Plastow baseball.
Obviously, Tim Blaine that's part of the district.
So we prioritize groups that are related to Plastow and in the state of New Hampshire over groups that are registered in other states but still have Plastow residents.
There you go.
That
Is it gonna be tough to decipher with the list of we have the people that we already rejected versus what we have?
Yep.
Are we that far off?
I would definitely need to go back and look, but I certainly
Yeah.
have all those records.
We're probably going to have to update the form and ask for their location and,
So what about this? We continue to say if you are a Plastow organization, you can have up to 4 days per month. Outside of the town gets 1, 2 days a month, or 1 weekend a month. Something like that.
Okay, one more
I
time.
think we should. I think we
And
should make the
then-
rules a little stricter.
Okay, one more time. So you're
So you
saying,
leave it as is, but the first, so if you look at the rules, the first rule is your group organization cannot request more than 4 days per month. So that should be changed to if your group is a Plastow group or organization, you cannot request more than 4 days per month. And then we add another one in there that says if you are outside of Plastow organization, they only get 1 or 2 days per month.
and on your
well,
request form,
2 days per month is 2
you need
weekends,
to
right?
add,
Well,
You could do Friday, Saturday,
form.
probably.
No,
you
it's
would need to add
Friday,
state of
Saturday.
organization.
the dates,
Yeah.
the actual dates.
Or Saturday, Sunday, whatever they choose to do.
Yeah, so you get
I'll
space
wait
for
for
the
them to
weekend is
start
what you do.
Add that to the venue.
So you get 1 weekend a month. If you want, you could even change the first one for the Plastow to be up to 4 days per month. So that gives them, because then you can have the two groups. You have the one Plastow groups, or the Plastow groups that have precedence or first pick on the 4 weekends. And then you have the outside group that can have 1 weekend a month. But every weekend, you're going to have a Plastow group and a outside group,
It gives more breadth to the local groups. I agree.
something
Not
like
that,
that.
not that
And then on the
hard.
form, they have to provide their registered address. That way we can kind of, but they provide an EIN number, so
We can look at it.
that can be looked up to see if they're a Plastow organization or if they're a non-Plastow organization.
I would just add state of organization, so that it
Yeah,
takes
whatever.
the load off of him typing in all these EIN numbers and looking up where they are.
Right, but they ask for it now on the form, so.
No, right, they do ask that, but
Yeah.
we can add
Add what's the state?
Yeah, whatever works
State
for.
your
state,
registered
state.
state of origin.
How does that sound?
State and town.
I'd be more than happy to draft something.
Is that a little more clear than what we were just talking about?
Yeah.
Because we've thrown out a lot of things.
Yeah, I mean, it certainly allows like more than one group to potentially be on the same day, but it still at the same time allows for local groups to have a better shot and advantage at having the days that they want.
Right.
And that also incorporates what Tyler was suggesting.
Yes.
that we
Yeah,
have the
of
two
course.
groups, So
Yep.
Yeah.
it gives 4 outside organizations 1 weekend a month. One Plastow group could have every weekend for the whole month.
Okay, so let's try it until Christmas time.
Or
So for
November.
those,
Until the weekend before Thanksgiving.
Right, because that's the Salvation Army's
Army.
usually out Thanksgiving weekend. That's
Yeah,
usually
the
when they
weekend,
start.
Yeah.
so for those outside groups that I currently have scheduled, so for example,
Yeah.
I do have Haber Elite Cheer booked for Columbus Day weekend, Friday through Monday.
Mhm.
Am I taking that away? Am I leaving that as is?
No, I think you leave the ones that
I
are
think
there and we
we
try
have
to
to leave.
take
But,
this.
but if
Okay.
you have someone from Plastow,
put a
They,
alongside.
you add them to that weekend because there's
Yeah,
a Plastow
absolutely.
resident.
Absolutely.
They're a Plastow-based business.
Sounds good.
So hopefully we can get those 6 that we've turned down. Hopefully they're different weekends and it aligns that we can.
Yeah. And hopefully some of them haven't already passed.
does that?
So right
sound-
now, the way the policy is, the 4 days a month, that gets you 1 weekend. That's your Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Is
Or
how-
Friday through Monday if there's a holiday.
Or Friday through Monday if there's a holiday. That's kind of how Plastow baseball's always viewed
Yep.
it because
Right.
we always tried to do Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Yep.
Sometimes people only want one day and we can't always accommodate it. I mean, if we change it, we probably can accommodate it.
Yeah, you probably couldn't, it's just one day. A little more
That's
flexibility.
another
maybe.
good thought that you could split into. So yeah, let's try this first and then we could always discuss. So you could
So
always
we'll
break
give,
up days.
we'll give this a shot like this until the weekend before Thanksgiving.
So Jay, with the days that you wanted, because Haverhill Elite Cheer has 2 of those days, but with Plastow, I can put you in for all 3 if you would like. Okay, not a problem. I figured I just mentioned because I remembered.
Everyone good with that?
I'm good with it.
And I guess then we'll revisit in December. It'll be like the agenda item for like your last meeting, Beth.
No, put it off till January.
I hear tagging one more time.
All right, we'll give it a shot, see what happens. All right, we need to approve some non-public minutes.
Yes.
Yep.
Thanks.
Thank you.
What should read if someone wants to make a motion?
Make a motion to approve the non-public minutes from August 25th, 2025, and to keep them sealed.
Second.
Second by John. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I have to abstain, right?
Yes. Tyler, did you say aye or?
Abstain.
So it's
I wasn't here for that
4-0-1. And next up, we need to approve the consent agenda. What we had today was the accounts payable manifest. There were 2 for August 28th, 2025. We got the BOS draft minutes of August 25th, 2025. And there was 1 2025 tax abatement request. And there was also an add-on with the accounts payable manifest for September 8th, 2025.
Make a motion to approve the consent agenda for September 8th.
I'll second.
Second by Liz. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 I'm abstaining. I wasn't here for those minutes.
All right. So 401. Thank you. Greg, what do you got for us?
Well, good evening. Been a busy few days since my last report, since I did miss the last meeting. Been busy, obviously, with assessing, helping out the utility assessor, property assessor, and the like. It is that time of year with state reports being due, so I've been working on that, as well as, estimates and the like. Have been working closely with the town attorney on some pending legal matters, and then also with budget and CIP kicking off. Have been working with a couple of finalizing some contracts for for instance, the planning board with the RPC contract. Updates, the highway department has been out at Park today, cutting back the swales. We're doing that. We're getting ready also at Park to address irrigation concerns, because with the irrigation, it hasn't been working all summer. It's pretty much a desert out there right now. So working on that. The Wilder Drive project, I keep hoping for kickoff. It's hopefully will be starting in the next week or two. You had the report from the engineers on the water tower, but I'm currently working on finding a solution, with regards to either repairs or, repainting, but also a cell tower option. Tyler helped out, but we did finally get some signs up on the Mount Misery Trail for no trespassing at the end of the trail, which was, a concern of a few taxpayers and the like. So again, it's been busy, but we're plugging along. So I did have a department head that resigned as of Thursday with a 2-week notice, so that we will be, posting for that position. And it has to do with the recreation department. So, I want to thank the recreation director, Jen, for, her years of service, but we will be actively looking for a replacement for that position. So.
The utility assessment, any idea when you think that might be done?
Had some back and forth today on getting information on Pennachuck, but I'm hoping they're very close to it. So.
And I do know the one thing with Janet Rex, she said she'll continue to help us along
Yes.
until we get something. So that's a good thing, especially because I know there's events that come up. So
Yeah, she's got a busy schedule right through the, Christmas, and then even, things planned on winter break and the like. So it is,
yeah.
so
So at some point we might have to jump in and help out a little bit there.
Yeah.
Because I know because you got the Halloween's always a big one, and the Christmas
Halloween.
one's a big one too.
The tree
Those are the
lighting.
two big ones.
Then you get all those days off that the kids have in January, February, and March that she usually plans, and
Right.
vacation stuff.
All that. All that.
It's going to be a big loss, but hey, we'll
It
find
is.
someone.
Yeah.
the
Hopefully.
other department heads and the like, and the boards will, everyone will step up. I'm sure the
No,
rec
and I do
commission
know that,
will
and
as well.
And I wish Jen well too, but she did have an opportunity that made all the sense in the world to go. So,
Yep.
As much as you hate to see her going, I know I do. It's to better her and her family. So that's always a positive.
I will comment that I do have extensive event coordination experience, so I'm more than happy to jump into recreation, whatever is needed.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate it.
He wants to wear 2 hats.
We have lots of hats.
Yes.
I hope you brought a hat rack with you. Selectmen's reports. John,
I actually have none.
good for you.
Pretty easy.
Tyler.
Let's see, I wasn't here for our last meeting. So since then, I attended a rec commission meeting, sworn a new alternate for there. That the good news is about with Jen leaving, that hurts us. We do have a very large rec commission right now. think we have 4 or 5 alternates and a full rec commission. So in that regard, there's a lot of people there to try to help out. Last Friday, I attended the bike rodeo that Jen put on with rec over with the police as well at Park. It actually turned out really good. I think they had about 25 kids over there, gave out helmets. Taught them
Yeah,
all the
it
bike
was
safety.
nice too, because they had a police officer there that was actually fitting the helmets on the
Nice.
kids to make sure they fit the right size. It was nice. It was,
Yeah, they
it
had
was a
someone
nice
there.
event.
Fixing all the bikes and teaching the kids. So
Yeah, you had, what is it? The place on 125. What is it? Pedals
I forget the name of it.
or
but-
something. It's right by the library.
Yep.
He was there, and as the kids came in, he was checking the air in their tires. You know,
Checking their brakes,
brakes,
just making their
brakes, and making adjustments to all the bikes for the kids and everything as part of it.
oil in the chains and
Yeah,
it's good.
yeah, it was nice to see.
And then that I went and took a hike out in Mount Misery to put up some signs, but other than that,
Sorry.
How's the trail looking?
good. It's in good shape. It's marked well. Kids went with me. It was the last day of summer vacation. I said, we're going for a hike.
I know if you go out there now, I don't know when hunting season opens, but it's very shortly.
Yes.
So,
We're orange.
We're orange.
yeah, so,
I'll bring my son.
yeah, there you go. Yeah, so remember that we're orange when you're out there if you're on those trails.
That's it.
Thanks, Tyler. Liz?
Energy Committee, we discussed a solar carport at the Public Safety Complex, and the two chiefs are going to look at that information for us. I'm sure you'll touch upon Planning Board, and just waiting for CIP to start. And nothing for Historical Society, and I think that's it.
Jay?
Just waiting for budget to start. There is a senior transportation information night tomorrow night at the Norm Manger Building at 6 p.m. Yes?
I believe it's.
Yes. Yeah, at 6
Yeah.
p.m. So if you're interested in helping be a volunteer driver for the program, you can go there with your license and just proof of insurance, and they can sign you up, and you can do as much as you want or as little as you want. They just need volunteers. So if you can only volunteer from 9 to 10 on a Friday, they'll take it. So if anyone can give up that time, please come by the Norm Major Building tomorrow night at 6 p.m. and there will be food. So
Yeah, and if you can only give up, say, an hour or two to help take someone
Yeah.
grocery shopping, you can do your grocery shopping at the same time.
right,
Kill two birds with one stone.
exactly. So that's it.
Thanks, Jay. Did have a planning board meeting last week. Nothing real major on that one. Also attended the bike rodeo. Tomorrow night, I have a meeting at the school. It's tomorrow night, right, with Liz?
No, Wednesday.
Wednesday. What's
Yes.
today? Today's Monday, right?
It's Monday. I won't be there.
Well, I'm
All day.
trying to get the week.
All day.
I'm trying to get the week to move a little bit quicker, and that's on the tax cap. So
Yeah.
we'll see where that goes.
And the first budget meeting is Thursday night.
So it's Wednesday night, and we do have a non-public.
I want to add, just for clarification too, not clarification, but additionally, is the canine dog is in town. He's with the handler. He arrived today. The
Yay.
kennel's built and they start the academy on Monday. So the
Nice.
police, the new police dog is in town.
Nice,
Nice.
nice. Good to see that program.
Progress on that end.
It's good to see that program back.
Yes.
So just to recap, because I said I don't have anything, but I did have a conflict with Plastow Fish and Game and Conservation Committee.
Yep.
But I am reaching out to the conservation area in town has had some beaver issues and water damage and so forth. So I have a couple of local trappers that I've reached back out to get some commitment for them to get in there and sign them off so that they can trap the beavers. We can then bust the dams and open up that area.
Right, perfect.
As well as the Historical Society, Alan Davis and myself are working on bringing their technology up to the next level so that they can store more documents in a bit more fashionable manner as well. So those are two things that I want to get on the board.
Perfect.
Greg, are we on track for the budget? Are you ready? What did we say at the beginning of October?
Yes, absolutely, Mr. Grosh.
And just remember, I start vacation October 3rd, not to rub it in. And I'll be gone until about the 20th.
I know, that's why you're putting the
What did we
pressure
say,
on,
the
I know.
29th?
Yeah, we said the 29th, we have a tentative meeting there.
The 29th.
29th is a tentative budget.
That's it.
3 weeks.
The 29th. That will be.
So it's that.
All right. All right, and let's see, we have some events that are coming up. The fire department will hold a 9/11 ceremony on Thursday, September 11th at 8:46 a.m. And that is at the fire department, correct? Just like they did last year. Let's see, there's a townwide yard sale that's scheduled for Saturday, September 20th, between 8 and 2, rain or shine. To get on the list, contact Jen over at Recreation. Day is Saturday, October 18th in Hampstead, and that's at 28 School Street, and that goes from 9 a.m. to 12 o'clock noontime. The pumpkin lighting will be held on Saturday, October 25th, and the toddler trick or treat is Friday, October 31st, which would then mean the regular trick or treat would be that night. And that time for that, I know the police department sets that, so I'm sure we'll get an update on that before we get to that time. Did anybody have anything else?
I will note that on the townwide yard sale, the deadline for signing up is the 17th.
Perfect, thank you. And, all right, so we have to go into non-public under, this will be C, reputation, right?
E pending threat and
E?
litigation.
Okay, E.
I motion to enter non-public session under RSA 91-A, colon, 3, 4, we said
E.
E, pending or threatening litigation.
I'll second it.
Pull the board for this one.
Second by Tyler. Roll call, please. Don't you take a roll on that?
Did you want to take the roll?
Chairman Mr. Coy,
Yes.
Vice Chair Mr. DeRoche,
Yes.
Selectman Mr. Gifford,
Yes.
Selectwoman Ms. Costa,
Yes.
Selectman Mr. Shorman.
Yes.
All right, and we will not be coming back after non-public. Everybody enjoy your week, and we'll see you in 2 weeks. Have a good night, everyone.